All right, so for this scenario, we have a rough engine. I'm Matthew Martin. For the scenario, we did a trip where we're flying along, and during the trip, we have a rough engine. We decide on the ground after the flight to review the engine out procedures, and then our local flying club is conducting a meeting about the topic. So we want to be able to talk about that clearly. And so going into the SRMs, single pilot resource management. Before the flight, it's important to become familiar with all information pertaining to the flight. Um, so we asked ourselves, have we done that? One of the ways we do that is through MW Craft, which is NOTAMs, weather, known ATC delays, runway lengths, alternates, fuel requirements, and takeoff and landing distances. Um, and become familiar, since we're flying a multi-engine airplane. Before the flight, we want to be aware of the risks involved with having the engine out, especially during the um, takeoff phases, which is most critical. Some of the important V speeds that we need to know is VYSE, probably the most important. In our aircraft, it's 84 knots, and that is the best rate of climb with a single engine. Our VA maneuvering speed with both engines is between 122 and 112 knots. VLO, landing gear operating speed, below 122 knots. VLE, landing gear extended, 93 knots. And then our VMC is 62 knots. Going into the VMC is the minimum control speed with one engine. Some of the factors some of the ways we can diagnose, not diagnose, I guess, some of the indications that we're approaching the VMC is we lose all loss of directional control, or we hear a stall horn. You don't want VMC and stall speeds to equal. You want your VMC to be as low as possible, or else we lose control faster. If it's a higher VMC, we're going to lose control at a higher airspeed. We don't want that. The SMACFUM acronym explains all the different various effects that affect VMC, most of the time raising the VMC, and that's involves, excuse me one sec, a standard day, max power, aft CG, critical engine windmilling, flaps up, gears up to 5 degrees of bank. And our most unfavorable weight, which is a lightweight, cowl flaps are up, we're out of ground effect, and we have max rudder pressure. So all these factors affect VMC, most of them rising it. Most of them, yes, is for the most part, is performance rises, VMC rises, unless we're up to 5 degrees of bank, or yeah. So as far as CG goes, we ideally should have the CG a little bit forward. Having a slightly aft CG decreases the instability and our rudder pressure. With the aft CG and the rudder, the arm between an aft CG and the rudder is significantly less than a forward CG and the arm to the rudder. So if we have a forward CG, we're going to have more rudder authority and more effectiveness, and we're going to be able to have max rudder pressure for longer. If we have a aft CG, it's not going to, we're going to have much less effectiveness, and we're going to have to apply rudder pressure for a shorter amount of time before we lose control. Gears up, flaps up, increased performance but as a result, increase the VMC as well. Um, when you streamline an airplane like that, the engines are running max performance or as well as they can. So it's that increases the VMC, and the wind milling prop adds a lot of induced drag, way more drag than we need when you have an engine out, because it's already, say we lose a left engine, it's just dead weight of engine. A windmilling prop is just adding a lot of drag and a lot of adverse yaw. It's not good. When we get into pass, the P factor, a descending blade takes a bigger bite of the ascending blade at a certain angle of attacks, and in this one we have both blades turning clockwise. So that makes our left engine more critical because the descending blade on the left side is taking a bigger bite of the air closer to the fuselage or the longitudinal axis. And on the right side, that descending blade is taking a bigger bite with the arm much further away than the longitudinal axis, and it just creates less stability and less airflow over the airframe. A accelerated slipstream, we spiraling slipstream, we have a spiral that generally flows out towards the right side. If we're going straight ahead, the slipstreams of both engines kind of fade out towards the right because of the rotation. And then as a result, on the left side, it spirals around and hits the left side of the vertical stabilizer. And then the right side, the spiraling slipstream just flows away from the aircraft. So we lose our counteraction with the left engine. If we lose our right engine, the plane wants to yaw to the right. Spiraling slipstream is going to help counteract that and yaw it back to the left. But when we lose the left engine, we don't have that counteraction, and it just wants to yaw to the right even more. Torque, goes into Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. For instance, our blades are turning clockwise, so the airplane wants to turn counterclockwise as a result of that. When that happens to the left engine, we lose that ability. It's another counteraction to if we lose a right engine, our left side, we're going to want to naturally roll over to the right, counteraction, go to the left. So our left engine is the most critical engine in this process. So, and then ADMs, we have the 5 Ps: pilot, plan, programming, and passengers. So come familiar with all those, have our decision making in line, and the PAVE checklist, where it's pilot, aircraft, and environment, and the decide checklist. All right, that was I'm gonna look at the page. All right, environment and external pressures for PAVE. My bad. And then decide checklist. As long as we have all of these kind of down and properly planned out, we should have no problem. As in regards to decision making, we've become familiar with all the information pertaining to the flight. Our pilots, passengers, plane, aircraft is in check. Environmental pressures, external pressures, and then if we're in flight, we gotta decide. So, with all that being said, it's important to become as familiar as we can with all the information pertaining to the flight. Stay proficient in the emergency procedures. Memorize the emergency checklists. Know them by heart. So when you're in an emergency situation, you're not having to look at a piece of paper the whole time. You can just react and do everything. So That's the most important thing. Thank you.